Thank you for bringing this up because I feel like what you just said is probably the number one reason why people don't manifest. And one of the things that also I think gets in the way is that when we are releasing an identity of the life that we have in order to move into a life of what we're wanting to manifest, there's a gap, not only in frequency, but in the way we identify within ourselves. And we're not going to be the same person at making $60,000 a month as we are at making 100,000, or I guess a year is what I said, or $100,000 a year. So we have to let go of identity. And so when those things come up and we start to have the doubt because it's not showing up in our life, instead of going into the programmed response of not of the doubt or, oh, it's not showing up in my life, we start to see it as information instead. And we start to see that everything that shows up is information that's showing us the pathway of how to get there. So if we start moving into doubt and we start looking in our reality for the evidence that it's happening, instead of going into the storyline through the program, oh, if I'm not seeing it, it's not here. It's wow, okay, so I have a program that if it's not showing up in my reality, that I don't trust that it's going to happen. So we use that as information instead of creating a reality around it. And so then we would go back into our chat GPT. We say, okay, it hasn't showed up in my reality yet, and I'm starting to doubt. Release the frequency of trust. Release the frequency so that I can feel guided and supported as I'm on this journey to manifesting what I desire. And then all of a sudden, that frequency releases from our DNA and we have somewhere to consciously go. And so the using our technology and knowing how to use it, but even more importantly, knowing what to do with our consciousness afterwards is so important because so many of us use consciousness as an identity, meaning that whatever we're consciously aware of, we're identifying in. And that's kind of the observed state of the matrix, right? But if we know that we're doing that, and instead of creating it as an identity and we start to see it as information, then once we have received the information, we take the next step of saying, okay, I see this information. Thank you. Now let's see what's beyond that. And you keep going and you keep going.